It's been a roller coaster of emotions. I think I was like really angry and then really sad and then really confused. I think I still haven't really gotten the chance to verbalize exactly how I've been feeling just because I'm still, secluded from the world. But I'm feeling a lot better today for sure. I think that anger has kind of washed away. I've kind of been more level headed, so a lot better today, but it's been rough.
No, which is totally understandable. Like, I'm sure people have told you this already, but I would have been angry too. And I would have been confused too, because as a viewer, I was like, what is going on? So tell me in that moment, obviously, we saw your reaction, which broke my heart, but how shocked were you? Yeah.
I can tell you 1,000% that there was not really a thought in my mind that it was going to be me going home.
Mm.
Um, and I think partially maybe it was like the girls were all kind of like, "We love you," like they were talking to me from the fire pit before they even knew that they had to vote. Like when I was just standing up there, like Shelly would look at me and be like, "I love you." I'm like, "I love you too." And then Pepe was standing up with me by the fire pit, and he would just look at me. He was looking at me the entire time because I was kind of like tearing up, and he'd be like, "Don't cry. Like you're good. Like it's not gonna be like you're good. Stop crying. Like I promise you're fine. Like we'll be good. Like just in a couple hours, we'll be back to normal." And so it was shocking, and I think it was shocking for him too. It was like really unexpected.
Do you feel at all betrayed by your girlfriends?
You know, I did really feel betrayed initially. I think maybe there's still that sense of like, oh, like why me? Especially watching the episodes back and never really getting that clarity. But like at the end of the day, those are my really close friends, and like we went through something that nobody's ever gonna understand except us and everyone else who's ever done it. But um, it was a really unique experience, and maybe I'm really glad that Amaya and Iris really get a shot at finding their connections. I just do feel let down that, two times my connections were cut short, not by my own control or the person I was with's control. So it sucks. It really does suck.
Do you have any inkling of like as to why? I know you were just saying you're like, I don't know why, but like in your heart, in your gut, do you have a reason why you think that happened twice?
With Charlie, I think it was a kind of hectic couple days before Charlie's elimination. Um, and we didn't really get to share like the connection that we made right before his elimination because I'm telling you, we had this conversation and Ariana walked in as our conversation ended. So we didn't have the chance to tell the group like, oh, we just had this really amazing conversation, like we learned a lot about each other. So I think everyone was thinking we were still kind of on thin ice, just because
Mm.
I was for a while I really was leaning towards Pepe, and I kind of like, you know, second guessed myself because a lot of the girls were convincing me that Pepe was maybe just playing me. So I really got in my head with that for a little bit. So that was, it was shocking, but I kind of knew it was going to happen when it boiled down to the three that were standing up there. Um,
Oh, okay, that kind of makes more sense. So they're in your head, and then that's why you kind of go back to Charlie. But then you were very happy because then Charlie leaves
yeah,
and you're very upset. But then you did kind of you moved on to Pepe rather quickly. Was it
yeah.
because like you knew all along that look, it was Pepe over Charlie?
Um, and the funny thing is, after Charlie left, they were like, "Oh, well, maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's a sign that America saw something that we didn't." Because we kind of like personified America a lot in the villa. Because
I
obviously,
know. Why? I feel like this is the
I
first
don't
season that you guys that people did this.
see, and like for me, I feel like I had my head turned off a lot. Like I was like kind of just like not really thinking about it as much. But I think, you know, I don't really know why that was the way that it was, but it was something that people like would have mentioned America a lot. Um, I think maybe just because we have like they have the power in some hands, but also it's ultimately up to us in the end of the day. But so they were just saying like, oh, maybe they saw something, or maybe Charlie said something that we didn't see, with like the beach huts and everything. Um, you never really know. And then they were
Right.
like, well, maybe this is a sign that like you were about to make a decision that was not meant for you, and like this is something that was meant for you. And I really like did not want to listen to it, or did not want to hear that at the time. But
Mm.
then I saw a completely different side of Pepe, once Charlie was gone, because that was like my sole focus at that point, was really rebuilding that connection that I kind of shut down. And it ended up being like a lot different than I could have ever imagined.
And a lot different in a good way.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is amazing. And I don't think he's been done justice on the show with his screen time. I really hope that he gets more, because he is an amazing, I'm forever indebted for how much he helped me and helped me with my crash outs in the villa.
Your crash hits. Okay, because I will say, like, I interviewed Charlie last week and he's like, look, I really was he said he was falling for you. Like
Yeah.
you use the word falling for, the
Yeah.
term. And he said that he would be open to reconnecting outside of the villa. Like, is that anything you would want to do, or are you waiting for Pepe and hoping that maybe he won't find someone else and he'll come to you outside of the villa in a couple weeks?
I think what I told myself, and obviously, like, I'm excited to see where Pepe's journey takes him, and if he ends up single, like, that'd be nice. But I also don't think I'm gonna force a rekindling between either of my connections. I think whatever happens is supposed to happen. I think everything will fall into place, and I think I never forced them in the villa. It was kind of like natural with the
Mm.
way like that I rebuilt my connection with Pepe and the way that me and Charlie's connection played out. I'm really open to seeing Charlie again. I think he's like the funniest person I've ever met in my whole life, and like regardless of like where we stand outside, I like definitely want him to be like my friend at least.
Yeah.
But I do really admire him and like our connection and what we had. And same with Pepe. Like whatever happens in the villa, like if he comes out, and we did have like I think a lot of plans outside of the villa, so if those can follow through, that will be really nice.
Have you watched the episodes back yet?
So I did watch every episode, but I would say I skipped a lot of stuff that didn't really involve me, just because it's my story and what I know to be true, and I didn't want to like see a distortion of anyone else's story. Just because I know what I experienced of everyone else, but I'm the only one who can say what I experienced and
Mm.
be like honest and truthful about that. Um, so yeah, I have a good idea of everything. I was skipping through the important, like watching the most important parts.
Right. Would you have changed anything?
Um, no.
Okay.
I think, obviously I didn't want to go home, but I think I had a really, really beautiful experience, and it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever been through, but also I learned so much about myself, and it really changed my perception of a lot of things. I really had like amazing friendships and amazing connections, and like I'm going to cherish it for the rest of my life, no matter how hard it was. It was really a fun journey.
And I'm loving that. Like, I know you don't have your phone yet, but I do. A lot of people were upset with the girls that they did that to you, but I'm glad that you are going to be able to, like, you're moving past that because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, they just had to make a decision.
Yeah, and I'll never like don't get me wrong. I was pissed off, and
Yeah.
I was really mad at Huda for a few days before I left, and I don't think we ever really got to like clear that as much, just because we just didn't really have the time. But I think outside of the villa, there's like the connections will be rebuilt, and there's a lot to talk about. And we all know that it's a crazy experience, and it's something that nobody will ever understand except us. And so, it sucked and it hurt, but I don't have any ill will towards them at all.
Obviously, Jeremiah was also sent home, which was another shock. Were you shocked by that?
I knew that Pepe wasn't going home, so I knew it had to have been Austin or Jeremiah. I thought it was going to be Austin, honestly, when I was standing up there. So I was shocked to hear Jeremiah's name, but I knew the guys were kind of like, oh, I think he's repeating the cycle of like the like love bombing. But like Andrena just got there, and like she liked him from the moment she came in. I think that that's who she had her like sights set on before she even came in. Like he's a very handsome guy, and he's a really nice guy. Like
Yeah.
from what I got to know of him, I didn't really talk to him much during the time I was in the villa, but the last couple days I got to know him a lot more because I was really close with Iris and they were coupled up. And like I really like saw through like everyone like from what I heard, like people who thought he had ulterior motives. I did not see that from him at all. I really did not see that from him. So it was shocking. And I think both of us were really shocked. Like I was like, I don't know why you're going home. And he's like, I don't know why you're going home.
Do you think that maybe some of the guys were just like a bit jealous of Jeremiah? Like you had the bombshell come in and she was very attracted to him. She already had another connection. Like it was more of a jealousy rather than, ooh, we don't need you doing toxicity again.
Yeah, I mean, I could see some like maybe potential jealousy. I didn't hear of that, but I mean, look at Huda and look at Andrena. They are so fucking gorgeous. Their face cards never decline. They're literally perfect, sent from heaven. Um, and then Iris as well. I think another thing of them personifying like America. I think they were like, oh well, maybe they coupled up Iris and Jeremiah to like give Huda a chance to break free. So because it wasn't really the focus on like, oh, maybe they saw something bad in Huda. I think it was more that maybe they saw something bad in Jeremiah that we didn't know. So maybe that's something that was thrown into it, but I don't really know. I never really talked about it with them.
You were just there having fun, and that's why
Yeah.
people loved you. That is why, like, it was such a bummer for you to go because, like, you were more concerned with getting your genuine connection with Pepe, and like you went through that with Charlie, and that's what the concern
Yeah.
was. And
Yeah. you know, that's like always something that goes through your mind. And I think like maybe that's something that's touched on slightly in there. It's like, oh, wait, I think everyone kind of puts the blame on everyone that, oh, they're just here to win. They're just here to win. That's the motive that they had from the beginning. But like, I like always kind of was just like, Pepe, let's go in the corner. Charlie, let's go over here. Like, I always just like walking away because I just, I wanted to talk to these people that I'm sleeping in bed with, It's, I would like to not be awkward and like sleeping on the opposite corners of the bed like some people did. I like to be cuddled up.
yeah, which that is so crazy though. Like, what do you think was the craziest part of your experience on Love Island?
I just think my complete lack of control was the craziest thing. I had no control over what was happening in my life. Like, nothing was decided by me or by Charlie or by Pepe. It was like literally up to everyone else. So I think that was like something I really didn't expect because I thought like, I'm going in there, I'm pursuing connections, but I'm also open. I thought that not that I was doing it right, but I was doing it in the way that like I intended to. And I was like, it still didn't work out for me. So I don't think there is really a right or wrong way to go about this. It's just all luck, I guess.